Western North Carolina has been hit with hurricanes in the past, of course.
Scott Mason covered one 20 years ago. And tonight, Scott and a photographer compare that storm with this one.
It's unimaginable, Scott.
That is saying something, coming from a former news photographer.
So as a photographer total, right at 9 years.
Don Engel worked for WRAL, and in 2004 worked with me.
Biltmore Village is a disaster.
I mean, it's just incredible to see what the Swananoa River did to Biltmore Village back in 2004 and again here present time in 2024.
Don grew up in Asheville.
Many lives changed in the blink of an eye.
Today, he's an Asheville school teacher.
I don't really know when school will be back.
Back in 2004, Hurricane Francis flooded much of Asheville.
Remember the Lowe's hardware parking lot?
I do.
Back here at the Lowe's parking lot, and this kind of puts it all in perspective. See that out there? That is the top of a car. You can barely see it.
Swift water rescue, like canoes and boats going across to get employees out. And it was definitely the mighty Swananoa River back in 2004 and again in 2024 with Helene.
Except 20 years later, so much worse.
There's no comparison. This storm was probably 100 times more powerful.
20 years ago.
Gerald, this scene tells it all. This is normally dry rock, and you can see what it looks like now.
And now, 20 years later.
The dates almost match up, almost exactly 20 years. It's totally crazy that 20 years ago, you and I were doing live shots about flooding in downtown Asheville and Biltmore Village because of the Swananoa River. And now here, 20 years later in 2024, we have the same story on our hands, but on a grander scope, I would say, because it just the devastation and the destruction, it's really hard to comprehend, Scott, just to see with your own eyes what Mother Nature can do.
Scott Mason putting together another great story.